Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome to class 13. This is Cuatro Small Scalp. This is the original method that me and Junito, Willie, and Jovan actually started trading. When we started trading, we weren't getting the whole swing or intraday, so-called intraday method. So we started scalping, and we developed with a lot of different methods. We combined a lot of stuff, and we made our own little method, and it worked. We made a lot of money doing this. I put together this video. This was supposed to be next week's class, but I'm going to give it today because we're waiting on an indicator for another class. We'll have that next week. This is all part of the 8 sessions that we will have for intraday. We will be learning different methods. This method is great. I don't do it anymore because I teach you guys swing. So I try to stay with that because I don't want to change my platforms all the time. But this method is, I mean, a lot of you guys are going to switch to this. I guarantee it, which is amazing and good because then we'll have, different signals and different aspects. What scalping is, before I get into the video, what scalping is intraday on an even smaller level. We're looking for 5 or 6 pips, 7 to 8 pips, and we're out of there. But you're getting that in a matter of a minute or a second, 5 minutes. If you do that, 10 times, you got 80 pips. And people do that all the time. Me and Janito used to get sometimes 200 pips scalping a day, easy. We just didn't have the discipline to actually stop doing it. So we would get beat up sometimes. But I'm going to teach you guys a safe way how to do it. And when we and Junito started, we didn't use stop losses either. So we just hoped and prayed that it'll turn around, and most of the time it did. But I'm going to teach you guys a safe way how to do it. If you lose this trade, you'll only lose 5 to 10 pips at a trade, which is great. But the chances are that if you go by what I teach you and you stay diligent on it, you will be at least 90% successful on these trades. All right, I'm going to start the slideshow. We're going to go through everything, and then at the end of the day, we're going to do lab like we always do. I hope everybody gets into this and asks questions because I want you guys to learn this. This is going to, I don't know if you guys ever heard of Japanese candles, but this has Japanese candles included in it. So this is going to be something that you guys really want to pay attention to. You guys will really like it. All right, here we go. I'm going to share my screen now. Okay, let me move this up. Okay, can everybody see my screen? Thumbs up, somebody? There we go. Okay, this is called Cuatro X Small Scalp, the other intraday strategy, class number 13. Okay. Sorry, let me move this out the way. Okay, what are we going to learn? What is scalping? What indicators we need? What time frame? Method of the Cuatro X Small Scalp and lab. In between method of the Cuatro X Small Scalp and lab, we're going to have a strategy of the small scalp. So it's the method is gonna explain it, but the strategy is gonna tell you how we use it. Okay, so it's gonna seem kind of redundant, but bear with me. You guys will understand it at the end. Okay. All right. What is scalping? Scalping in the forex market involves trading currencies based on the set of real-time analysis. The purpose of the scalping is to make profit by buying or selling currencies and holding the position for a very short time and closing for a small profit. Many trades are placed throughout the trading day, and the system that is used by these traders is usually based on a set of signals delivered from technical analysis. That's what we do. We do predictive analysis. Charting tools and is made up of multitude signals that created by or sell decisions when the point of the same direction. A forex scalper looks for a large number of trades for a small profit each time. Like I was explaining to you guys before, that's what scalping is. Scalping is putting in a lot of trades, a small amount of pips in return, but at the end of the day, they're safer trades because the risk is very minimal. Okay, instead of losing 45 pips at a minimum on a swing trade of 3 entries, you're really losing, 15 pips on a scalp. I mean, if you do 8 pips, you're talking 8, 16, 24. I'm going to show you how to determine how much stop loss you want to use, but usually it's between 5 and 10. Okay, what indicators do we need? Everybody needs to write this down. If you guys don't have a pencil and paper, you guys really need a pencil and paper for this. Okay, the indicators that we need to pull the Cuatro X small scalp is the stochastic oscillator and the Bollinger Bands. Now, I understand everybody that we have the TDI because we worked with the TDIs and the Bollinger Bands are on there. But actually what we're going to do is we're going to put the TDI on our chart. It's going to be very different. Okay, we're going to use our TDIs as EMAs on our chart instead of at the bottom area. Okay, so these are the indicators you need: the stochastic oscillator and the Bollinger Bands. I'm going to give you all the inputs for that. Okay, this is what the stochastic oscillator actually looks like. It looks like an RSI. Everybody knows that an RSI is flat. There's no movement like the TDI. You have a over 70 and under 30. Which tells you when it's overbought and oversold. This is exactly the same way. There's 2 EMAs on it, and those EMAs are very critical when it comes to trading, when it comes to scalping. And these are the inputs. Everybody, please write these down. These inputs are very, very, very important. All right, and I'll send everybody, if you guys haven't got them, I'll send everybody the inputs afterwards. I can send you guys screenshots. I'll put them on the chat. Okay, so this is the inputs for the oscillator. Now, these are the Bollinger Bands. If everybody can see, this is a TDI, but the TDI is actually on our chart. You have a midline, just like a shift fork, and you have 2 Bollinger Bands on the other side. I have inputs for this as well, and these are the inputs. If you guys got snippet, it's the best way to do it. I know that's what Hassan's doing right now, but if you guys got snippet, that's the best way to do it. Just take a snippet of it and save it. This is going to be very effective for the people that are eager to trade every day. This is something that you can do this at every session. I suggest doing it in the beginning in a Asia session because it's very consolidating. So you're getting 5-10 pip movement, and you can actually take advantage of it instead of getting like a New York breakout or a London breakout. Asia is the best session to scalp. That's what we used to scalp. It's very safe. We try to teach safe trading, and this will be it. Like I said, a lot of you guys are going to change to this method. Okay, what time frame do you use for the Cuatro X small scalp? The best time frame to use when scalping this method, I can recommend the 5-minute time frame. Using the 5-minute time frame and trading majors will keep you safe from big spikes and give you the ability to use the 5 to 10 pip stop loss. This is what I was telling you guys prior to this. 5 to 10 pip stop loss. That's what we want to use. Okay, we trade 5. You can do 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 1 minute, whatever you want to do. Usually, you want to do like a 5-minute, but if you're impatient, you can do a 1 minute, but the pips are going to be smaller. Remember, the lower the time frame that you trade, the smaller the pip count. So, 5 pips, 5 minutes is great. Okay. Method of Cuatro X small scalp strategy. The first thing to know about the method, that is based on 3 confirmations. Okay. The first being the candle closing above the Bollinger Bands or under the Bollinger Bands. Now, we're not looking at the TDI. Again, we're looking at the Bollinger Bands that are on the chart. So this is the first confirmation that we're going to have when we're looking for a trade. Okay, now we have 2 examples. The one on the left hand side right here, if everybody can see my arrow, this is the arrow. This is the candle that closed out. When I mean closed out, that means that candle finished above the Bollinger Band. And if you see the candle, not the wick, the candle is above the Bollinger Band. The Bollinger Band is under here, and it closed above the Bollinger Band. That is our first confirmation of getting into a trade. That's what we're looking for. Your trade will take 10 minutes at minimum, okay, to get into it. Once you're into it, it'll end in 5 minutes. Okay, but it's going to take at least 15 minutes to actually get your confirmation. So this is nothing that you can just post signals on as quick as possible. I mean, once it closes, and the new candle opens, you're ready to go. You know, I mean, if you're taking it, it's going to be pretty much you taking it. All right, this is another confirmation of this time the candle closing under the Bollinger Bands. This is the Bollinger Band. Where's my arrow? Okay, here it is. There's the Bollinger Bands here. This candle closed under the Bollinger Bands. So these are the two examples of above and under candle closing Bollinger Bands. Okay. The second is overbought and oversold on the oscillator. Okay, that's the second confirmation that you're going to look for, because there's going to be candles that close above the Bollinger Bands and under the Bollinger Bands, but it's not going to be oversold or overbought. You need to have those confirmations. This is why I say don't force anything. If you don't have these two confirmations, do not get into the trade. Make sure that you have these confirmations, because these confirmations are pretty much dead on, and you're going to have a 90% chance of winning this trade. Okay, so here's an example of that. Just like an RSI, you have your, sorry about that. What did I do? Okay, just like an RSI, you have your overbought line, which is the 770 or 700, and the oversold line, which is the 30 or 300. When you have, let's say your chart's up here and you have a candle that closes over the Bollinger Band, this needs to be over this line. Or if it's under the Bollinger Bands, this needs to be under this line. It has to be overbought or oversold. Those are your two confirmations, your first two confirmations. Make sure of that, okay? Third is opposite color candle close above or under Bollinger. Okay, so this is what this is here. We have the closing of the first candle. Okay, it closed above the Bollinger. Now the second candle has to close either above or right or close to above the Bollinger Band and under the Bollinger Band, and it has to be an opposite. So if it's a downtrend and the first candle was red, then the other one has to be green. Okay, if it was going up, the green one has to be, the first one was a green one, the next one has to be red. Okay, but it has to close above or close to being above. Okay. All right. How do you utilize the Cuatro X small scalp method? The Cuatro X small scalp method is based on 3 confirmations that we just discussed. When used properly, the method is very effective. Please do not force the method, and make sure to always be cautious when scalping, and always use a stop loss. Okay. So now I'm gonna actually show you what we're gonna do when we look for a trade. Okay. We're gonna use that method, and we're gonna put it into action right now. All right. Here we go. Utilizing the method, look for a candle that closes above or under the Bollinger Band. We have that. So what we're going to do is when we look into a trade, we're going to find something. When we see this thing happen, when this happens right here, this is our first confirmation. That's what we're looking for. I use the crosshairs instead of the arrows on my trading view, because the crosshairs, once you put the arrow above anything, the crosshairs above everything, it'll shoot a vertical and a horizontal dotted line, and you can see where you're actually at on your RSI, TDI, on this one, the oscillator. Okay, so I use this line here as an example of what a crosshair would show. So when this closed right here, we were above the 70, so we were overbought. Okay, so that was my 2 confirmations right there. Make sure that the candle that closes above or under the Bollinger Band is also oversold or overbought on this oscillator. That's what I was just showing you, and that's that. Okay. Look for an opposite candle that closes outside of the Bollinger Band next to the first candle or close. So this is our 3rd confirmation. So this was my 3rd confirmation. If you see this thing was it closed here. I was overbought, so I was waiting for the second candle to see what the second candle was. But it doesn't always have to be the second candle. Okay, it can be the third candle as long as it's over the Bollinger Band. If it's not over the Bollinger Band, we're not taking it. So this happened. This happened here. It closed here. Okay, so this is an example. It closed here, so I could have said, okay, let me wait for the next candle, and then the next candle closed above as well. You see? So I was still waiting, and then this closed. And when this closed, it closed above the Bollinger Bands. I was ready for the trade. Okay. Our entry to the trade will be the next candle after the opposite candle closes. So this happened, my first confirmation, my second confirmation at the same time. The red candle, the opposite candle closed right after above the Bollinger Band. So now I'm ready for my trade. My trade is the next candle right here because it closed right here. This candle opened. I took my entry as soon as it opened. I got from here to here. One candle, 6 pips. Okay, if you took 3 entries, you were up what 18 pips right now. It took 15 minutes to get you 18 pips. All right. Now, if I would have took it down here, I probably would have got close to 12 pips. So you would have had like 36 pips in 15 minutes. Okay. The safest thing is to take just one candle though. All right. Now, if you see the expansion of from here to here, that's only 6 pips. So your stop loss doesn't have to be as high. Do you understand what I'm saying? If you're outside of the Bollinger Bands, you can put a 5 pip stop loss, 6 pip stop loss. Your stop loss doesn't have to be that high. But you have to trade majors. You know, Euro USD, USD CHF. Those are very, very good pairs to trade. And they're really safe. They don't move too much. When you get into like GBPs and NZDs or stuff like that, you know, the pip count's going to be bigger on a 5 minute than it will on a US. But this is our entry. Our entry is the third candle from here. We took only just one candle wherever that candle closed, and we closed it. If you would have took the three candles, the 3 entries, you would have made 18 pips. Now 18 pips at, you know, a standard, you're talking about $180 in 15 minutes. That's really good money. This happens a lot, man. I mean, it truly does happen a lot. It works. Again, it's here's an example right here. Can everybody see my arrow? Oh, I'm sorry. Can everybody see my arrow? Give me a thumbs up, somebody. Anybody? Okay, cool. So check this out. I was looking at this yesterday because I created this chart, this lesson plan yesterday, and I saw one which was good because I wanted to show you guys what we were looking for. So I want to show our opposite as well. So this candle right here closed above, and then the red candle closed above, right? But actually it didn't close above, it closed below, but it'll confuse you, so you got to be careful. It actually closed here and it started here and came up. So that's why you got to make sure that when I say close, you want it to actually close right above, because if you see this one closed down here. If you see the long wick, it closed down here, so you couldn't get in there, because if you would have got in the next candle, you would have shot up and you would have got a stop loss. But this right here closed right above the Bollinger Band. Does everybody see the difference? Can I get a thumbs up from somebody? Yep, okay. This closed above the Bollinger Band. It doesn't have to be exactly above either. You know, it's got to be just close to being above. You know, closer to surpassing the Bollinger Band. If it closes close to that, then you're in the money. Okay, so that's why you got to be careful. Like, really take this to the lab. You know, I'm gonna put this class up today. As soon as it downloads, I'm gonna put the class up. I want you guys to pick my brain about it. You know, and pick Janito's brain about it. We're gonna help you guys out with this. For those that really want to do it, I know Chris Riggins will probably jump on this. This is more of his style. Probably Charles too. You know, you guys like, you know, that action packed. I used to be the same way. You know, this is action packed, and it's every day. It's every day. You don't got to wait. You don't got to swing anything. This is like this, boom. The stop loss is very minimal. You know, if you lower your lot size, I mean, you can actually increase your lot size on something like this because of the small stop loss. So it's a great method. It works, man. It really, really does work. And it's simple. The only thing is that you got to do your due diligence as far as making sure that you get all your confirmations. You know, if you get all your confirmations, you're making money. You know, I mean, you're shooting 90% on that scalping. You're gonna be there for a little bit though. You know, I mean, if you got the time to do it, it's worth it. This is good. So when we Zoom on at Asia session, you know, when Janito holds a Zoom or I hold a Zoom on Asia session or whoever, this is a great method to use because you guys all know that we get into Asia and we're pretty much doing setups. There's really no action going on. I mean, once in a while we get a breakout, but we really don't get a breakout until, you know, Aussie or London starts. So this is a great method for Asia. The only bad thing about this method, you guys, that if you guys are swing traders and you guys want to stick to swing traders, that you got to switch your platforms all the time. So you got to take your EMAs and your TD out, and you got to put the oscillator and Bollinger Bands in. And vice versa, you'll have to switch on and off, which, I mean, it's really not a lot, but I'm just saying if you guys really want to do it. But this is what your chart will look like. It's spot on, man. All right, let me get this last chart page in, and then we'll start lab. This method, just like every other method, is not 100%. When using this method, always be cautious and use a stop loss. If used properly, a 5 to 10 pip stop loss is more than enough. Do not chase a trade and be okay with a stop loss. Scalping is the original intraday method. It is the little siblings to all the other methods. There are very successful traders who only trade this scalp method. If this is a method that you are interested in using, please try on demo until you get a good enough handle on it. Please, before you use this method, consult with Cuatro instructors for a live trading session. It is better to trade with somebody more experienced with the method than to do it on your own. Again, right now, me and Janito, we know this. This is what we did. So me and Janito will trade with you guys. If you guys want to do this, this would be actually fun to go back to this. But if you guys want to do it, I mean, it's pretty simple, you guys. I just put this cautionary thing up just in case somebody gets really beat up in the market. I just told them, yeah, I read this to you. You know, but it's just very simple. It's just being diligent about your confirmations. If you could get your confirmations, but these confirmations are easier than the swing trade. Imagine you got to wait for a second hook on the W or M on a swing trade. That gets frustrating sometimes. But this is very, very simple, and it's easy to use. The only thing is that you are getting a small amount of pips. You know, on a swing trade, we can run 170. We can run more. We just, you know, set up for 170. This you got to push. You're gonna be trading probably a whole session to get your 100 pips, unless you go buck wild and you find a nice one and you throw 10 entries in, and then you're in. But I don't recommend that. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing this. I want to thank you guys for attending this class. I'm gonna stop sharing, and we are gonna get into labs. Give me 1 second.